The Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We have 6 games here on Wednesday to discuss a lighter than usual Wednesday main slate here. Some good matchups. This one kicks off at 7:30 as well. We usually don't get a 7:30 Wednesday start time. And it includes the 10 p.m. game here. Lakers-Clippers closes out for that late night hammer. We also have 5 teams are on the second leg of a back-to-back. I haven't checked to see if anybody's on the front leg of a back-to-back or not, but we'll figure that out during the show. James, my guy, how's your Tuesday evening going? I know you've thrown some screenshots in the Discord. Got a nice little team there.
Yeah, a little tilting because I was very heavily invested in Zion Williamson today, in general, in both DFS and props. And he had 3 early assists, so I was like, oh, props good. Then he just was in foul trouble throughout the rest of the game. And he actually had a really good third quarter. He came out, scored a bunch of points right away, got a couple of rebounds, scored over 300 points, but 34 from Zion hurt me. Good night overall. Especially recouping last night's loss because I did cash showdown, but main slate was not great.
Right.
So Tuesday was a nicer day overall. I feel like pretty good read on things. Loan Marvin Bagley, loan Naz Reid to leverage the field against Kyle Anderson, and so decent overall Tuesday. I know you also had a good night in the
we hit a lot of bets this evening.
Bets.
If you were in the Discord, I pasted those bets right after I got off air with SiriusXM. The Fantasy Alarm Show with Bender and Bowden gave out a same game parlay plus 480 for the Jazz and the Hawks. And while that game was not competitive, still cash. We got the John Collins over rebounds, Keontae George over assists, Sadiq Bey over 3-pointers there to cash the plus 480. We also had Donovan Mitchell over 25.5 points, and we had, again, the Collins rebounds individually. Lone loss of the evening was Ayo Dosunmu because, well, your Chicago Bulls lost to the Detroit Pistons. They were 2 for 25 from 3, which is very difficult to be that bad from 3 on a given night here. And unfortunately for the Chicago Bulls, they are home again, this time against the much tougher Cleveland Cavaliers here. As one of the games on this slate, we also have New Orleans versus Indiana here, 239. Pacers giving 5 at home. Dallas, Toronto getting 2.5. 240.5 total there. Dallas also on a back-to-back. They took that tough, heartbreaking loss to Cleveland. Max Strus, half-court buzzer beater. Memphis, Minnesota. Minnesota was on the second leg of a back-to-back here. We'll see who suits up. They did not have Karl Anthony Towns in this game on Tuesday. Gobert was questionable. We briefly saw Anthony Edwards leave with an injury. He did come back, had a big game, but we'll see how he heals up here. They're giving 12 at home, 213 total. Cleveland, Chicago, both teams on the second leg. Chicago's only getting 4 here, 219 total. Sacramento, Denver, 230.5 total there. Denver giving 7.5 at home, and then the late night hammer. Lakers, Clippers giving 4, 236.5 total in that one.
2 teams, John, on the front legs of back-to-backs. Denver and the Los Angeles Lakers. Both
okay.
On the front end of back-to-back.
Well, as always with the Lakers, we have to see who's going to play between LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
They've already come out. Davis probable, LeBron questionable.
All righty. Well, we'll see how that plays. Fortunately for us, this slate does have late swap. If this was Friday, it would not have late swap. We don't need to get into it
Why
again.
did you remind me?
We don't have to get into it again. I'm just saying exactly the example we give here. Let's just jump into this point guard position. Luka's your top price guy here at 12K. Had himself an okay night.
Okay.
Had himself an okay night against the Cavs there on Tuesday. What did he go for? 100 fantasy points?
Yeah. We'll give the line here: 45 actual.
Yeah.
14 assists, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, 1 singular turnover, and he made 6 3-pointers.
Yeah, light work.
So yeah, decent. What did you said? Decent? Is that how you?
Yeah.
How did you phrase it?
I think he went for like 90 fantasy points. So
I will, because this is easier to do on your phone.
It was close.
It's easier to do on your phone, right? Like it's easier to look. He had 87.
87. All right. So
he had 30 more fantasy points than Jason Tatum, who was the second highest fantasy.
Sure. So decent night for Luka Doncic. He is 12K.
Yep.
Second night of back-to-back going into Toronto. Has to go through like customs, maybe keeps him up a little bit later at night. Like, who knows? I will say you were dead on the 5 p.m. show. You got a little birdie messaging you earlier this morning, said the Slovenian population shows out in Cleveland for Luka.
And
he showed out for them.
I don't disagree. Salute to the birdie for sure. My boy Brian. And I respect that opinion, and it maybe is true. Like it could be true. We saw the Jokic one was Chicago, and he got thrown out, right? So
yes. And the crowd was about to riot
with Serbia, yeah, like Serbian national. So we don't know if like this is like confirmed like a thing throughout. Like I wonder like the biggest Greek population is for like when Giannis traveled. Like it's just interesting, right? Like if this is something to monitor, like one of those narratives. I still think that Luka might do this
just in general because he's Luka.
I mean, because he's now third on like MVP.
Do you know the Slovenian population in Toronto? Should we
I don't. I don't personally. But I mean, quick Google search. What is the Slovenian? I didn't spell that right. Population
in Toronto.
Did not even give me an answer for that.
There you go. So bad floor game coming for Luka Doncic here against Toronto. Moving our way down the list, Tyrese Halliburton at $9,500. You want to talk floor games? I don't know what happened to this dude against Toronto. 9 and 7 is all we got out of him in 32 minutes. It was the second leg of a back-to-back.
Sad.
Maybe that had a little bit to do with it. I don't know, but he was. You mentioned a disappointing Monday slate. That was that. Well, he was part of that. I think maybe a bounce back spot against Pelicans, but we'll see.
Wait, dude, there's a strong Slovenian connection to Canada.
All righty, well, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Kyrie does get boosted up to 93. Scotty Barnes to 92. You were in on Barnes the other night. He came through a monster score: 21, 12, 12, and 5 blocked shots. More than happy to run it through. If you're looking at the 9K and above tier, I think we're obviously locking in 4 of the 5. I mean, Kyrie's probably the only one that we're iffy on here.
And Kyrie's coming off 30 actual 6, 3, 1, 1, and 5 made threes. So him being crossed off still is like, well, there's like, maybe if I'm playing multiple lineups, but I agree. It's pretty hard to like pass up on any of them. Salute to Scotty Barnes. He really is, the role for Scotty Barnes is growing exponentially with this team. And I don't know if you saw this. The Raptors got a pizza party after their third straight win. It was promised by Darko. They got a pizza party after a third straight win. So
do we know what kind of pizza they ordered?
Do not, but there was pizza and there was a party, and the Raptors the vibes are high, Yeah. I mean, you have a pizza party, the vibes are high.
I wasn't sure if we were talking like Domino's delivery or if it was like a local joint, just maybe the team's personal cooks.
I'm sure they got something.
Something good, yeah. Stadium pizza, that could be the worst.
Oh no. Sbarro, they had a Sbarro, like Sbarro pizza or something. Yeah.
Yeah, no thanks. All right, moving our way, working our day down here. De'Aaron Fox 85, questionable tag on De'Aaron Fox though, so we'll see. But as we've been screaming now for about 2 weeks, man has been too cheap. He is still too cheap. So if he's in, I'm in. He's averaging 55 in 3 games against Denver.
Yep.
Should be 9,500. Instead, he's 8,500. I like James Harden here. Jamal Murray on the opposite side of that matchup. Both of those guys are fine for me.
No Paul George, by the way.
Yeah, Paul George, exactly. I don't know about Russell or Quickly here. What are your thoughts for those two guys?
Russell is interesting, I think, if LeBron sits,
Sure.
but I do feel like that is a fake questionable tag for LeBron. A Western Conference matchup, they need to win games. Like it hard pressed to think LeBron actually like sits many of these games. But if LeBron does sit, I enjoy the Russell and AD pairing. So
Mhm.
Russell would be in play. Quickly, I think, is in play. He did another solid game, 35 fantasy points in Indiana, 32, 44, 41, 35 in his last 4 games. The minutes are great. The shot attempts are great. Um, and then if I mean, 6+ rebounds in 4 straight games is interesting for quickly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd be good getting him in quickly.
Yeah, agreed. Again, good pricing on him here. After you get down below, though, there's certainly some darts that can be thrown. I mean, DeSumo had such a bad night. You have
Yeah.
Conley here, Reeves, Garland, Westbrook. I mean, without Paul George, as you mentioned, anybody in this 5K ish range for you standing out among the rest?
It would be Westbrook, but I still don't have confidence that he like plays
Mm-hmm.
significant. Now, I say that, and he's averaged 26 minutes a game against them, but it's a little bit skewed. He played 44 minutes in a game in November against them, and then both the last two he's played under 20. So
Right.
that seems like post starting Russ is not playing 20 minutes. So I'm circling back. No, I will. It is interesting. CJ McCollum 7,102. He was close to playing apparently on. So keep that in mind.
Sure.
Maybe he returns. He's listed out right now because he was obviously out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So if McCollum returns, he would be in play. John, I'm gonna say it, dude. TJ McConnell. He played another 20 minutes in that Toronto game. Another 23 fantasy points. Like it's not like overly appealing. I'm just saying that he is somewhat appealing. And then what is Memphis going to do you think, at point guard? Because they've already ruled out Luke Kennard.
Right. Did we get any Goodwin minutes? We didn't, right? So
we did not get any Goodwin minutes. No. So they're starting. So Concher's listed doubtful.
mm-hmm.
Kennard is out.
And they released Gilliard.
They released Gilliard. Rose has played no more than 15 minutes in both games since the break. Do they just have to play Jordan Goodwin, or do we see like point Vince Williams in this game?
It's funny that they wouldn't play Goodwin given how good he was in those first 2 games with them.
Yeah, and he helped them win.
He did. He did.
That was a nice D Wade to LeBron love right there.
D Wade to LeBron is exactly what I was thinking about. Anyways, let's move on over to shooting guard. A lot of guys we've talked about. Anthony Edwards.
You were a little thrown off by that. That took you a little bit to read.
No, I caught it. I heard it. I caught it. I wasn't sure how to react to it.
No, the rim was still shaking there for you.
I was expecting you to react to me doing the good pun, and then you just like without missing a beat. You were just like,
I know that was one of my better moments.
That was
one of my better moments.
You were good with it. Anyways, Edwards is 89, so they dropped him a buck. We'll see if he is in or out of this.
They dropped him. What are we doing here?
He was 9K. He's 8,900 now. So Ingram 82, obviously good spot for him against Pacers if anybody is out of that game. RJ Barrett, another big. Again, I tell you this like every slate. Where I just sort of like doubt RJ Barrett. I don't really know why. Like, yeah, he's had a couple of tougher matchups of late, but I mean, Indiana shouldn't have been a game where I looked at it and I was like, I don't know. Because through the last 3 games against Indiana, he smoked them. What are your thoughts on him against Dallas here? Do you think $6,800 cheapest he's been in a little bit? Another good spot just to go back to RJ Barrett here?
He's super solid, super safe, really good eligibility, shooting guard, small forward, cheaper price tag than we've seen. I mean, would I play him over Ben Mathurin? Probably not.
No disrespect to Vince Williams, but Ben Mathurin is the next man we have to talk about. So.
Dude, I mean, no disrespect to Vince Williams, but like Neesmith is questionable to return again. I mean, if he doesn't play, now obviously that's an upgrade for Neesmith because he's been listed doubtful or out for the last 3 games, and now he's questionable. Do you think that if Neesmith comes back, Nembhard just gets shoved to the bench. Like, there's no way, dude. I know,
Yes,
I know,
there is a way.
I know. But like, dude, it's every time he's extended.
Yeah, we talked about
Every
this
time.
all season long. Anytime he got more playing time, consistent minutes, he was very good.
It's every time he's extended.
There's something about him that they don't meet. It's got to be defense, I have to assume. And Carlisle just likes him as their sixth man. So
he's such a good rebounder. Like, for a guard wing, he's like very good
I
on the
still
glass.
wish he attacked the rim more this year than he did last year. He had 9 free throws. That's great, but like, we were getting a lot of games last season where he was like 7, 8, games like every day he was going to the rim. He's not
playing like 24 minutes a game.
And he's not really getting to the rim like that. Maybe he's thinking about like longevity here. Don't take the hits, but I agree with you. And again, you can play Vince Williams if you want to. No disrespect. Malik Monk's there at $5,600. You want to bounce back with him, you certainly can. Then the usual suspects, guys we've talked about. Hoarder actually got fourth quarter run the other night. Norm started. Norm probably starts again. So $4,800 for Norm here. I play him anyways. Now he's going over 30 minutes in 3 straight games. Like, lock in some Norm Powell for me here.
Yes, sir.
You have Gary Trent, Zaire Williams. Like, anybody else for you at shooting guard?
Dude, the Norm thing is amazing. We did not mention this though. Terrence Mann also played 40 minutes in that game without Paul George.
Yeah.
And he's been pretty good if you look at the production here. 25, 44, 27. Now, where would I rank Terrence Mann amongst Clippers? Yeah, I mean, that game, dude, that's go look at that one playoff game where he had 37 actual 2 years ago, and you're like, what? And that's why he's been so untouchable in these trades, because I think they still believe that he's got this untapped
potential.
But
he's got to start shooting more if that's the case.
He does. I will say though, if that's gonna be what they're gonna do, right? Shorter rotation second half of the season. And what did Amir Coffey play in that game? I mean, he played 19. He only played 19 minutes. So they gave the starters all the run. I would consider $4,400 Terrence Mann. I definitely think
probably a good pivot off of Norm. More people probably play Norm, but Terrence Mann does more peripherally than Norm Powell does. So
agreed.
I'm okay going there. Anybody else?
I mean, KCP's 4,200. That's I know he's been injured and was leaving games and stuff. That's a little disrespectful.
NAW would pop into if someone sits out, back to back here. Conley, Edwards, somebody gets ruled out.
Yeah, especially after the ankle for Ant, right?
Yep. Breaking news: Pistons are buying out Mike Muscala.
Seems like a Boston. He's gonna reunite with Boston.
Cornering the market. You saw them trying to get Blake Griffin to come back, right?
I did. Blake Griffin, by the way, has apparently a very good stand-up career going.
Really? Good for him. All right, let's go small forward. LeBron's 91.
That's really cheap. That is really cheap.
That's a number.
That feels very suspect.
That's a number.
That feels really suspect.
Front leg of a back-to-back, 9,100, coming off 62 and 54.
And he has been their point guard.
There was a slate where he was actually point guard eligible.
There's sure the one singular slate. We were very excited, and then they took it away from us. We haven't gotten the power forward. I wonder if Vooch is still. Oh, look, whatever.
If LeBron James is active for this game, that's a tough price to ignore.
Agreed.
I mean, Kawhi is right under him at 87. Also,
elite. Yep.
But he's been that price all season for the most part.
And honestly, Kawhi has been amazing. And I'm not going to say he doesn't have a ceiling, because they have the Clippers have the better spot ultimately.
Mm-hmm.
Pace up spot, big time pace up spot for them. But LeBron's peripherals, Kawhi just doesn't have these peripheral numbers.
Yeah, he doesn't have the assists, right?
Because he doesn't have LeBron's not like LeBron is the James Harden in this equation. Like Kawhi will not have that.
Yeah.
So I definitely lean LeBron for $400 more.
I agree. Pascal Siakam here at 8K, DDR in the back-to-back. We've talked about some of these other plays already. Michael Porter, 66. Herbie, 59. Hachimura's 53. If someone's to be out, I mean, that dude's been on a scoring tear when given the opportunity to do so. Any of the mid-tier guys stand out to you over the rest?
I mean, if someone's out in New Orleans, obviously Herb and Trey Murphy would be the two guys, but nothing else really. Hachimura is going to, I mean, even with nobody out, he's going to start.
Yeah.
I don't love that he only played 26 minutes in that latest game because he had been playing more. I think that does have to do a little bit with Dinwiddie being there because they can run that triple guard lineup with like where they just push Austin Reeves kind of like down a little bit. But I'm okay getting to Hachimura if his shot's falling. He obviously has a ceiling.
Sure. And then again, guys we've discussed here already. Nobody really knew popping off.
Oh yes, there is. Jake LaRavia, 3,600. And I told you, I went out of my way to not move on.
Yep, I agree.
And he played now I would not have guessed 28 minutes. I know there was a blowout involved and stuff, but like you said it the first day he returned, where you're like, yeah, he was a first round pick a couple years ago. And we know how shorthanded this team is. Like obviously they're not like fully, it's mostly in the backcourt where they're just like depleted.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't hurt his case when like Zaire and Vince Williams might have to play on the ball more, especially if they're only giving Derrick Rose and Jordan Goodwin X.
Do we know what his run was in that game? Was he getting early minutes?
We will go to our best friends over at popcornmachine.net. And if anyone ever needs to figure out rotations, popcornmachine.net is your one-stop shop for all.
Let's see.
LaRavia played, so he was an early sub. He was actually the second sub. He played 5 minutes. He actually closed the first half.
Yep. He played the entire fourth. He actually played the final
17 minutes.
Final 17 minutes of that game.
So he played the 5:46 in the second to 2:21, subbed out for 14 seconds, and then came back in the game and played the final 2 minutes. So he played about 10 minutes in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
So he was pacing for 20.
I mean, I guess it's also good to see him get the full blowout run because if Minnesota goes at home and just blows doors like they just did against, like if we get a repeat of this game for Memphis, then LaRavia is on the floor for 17 minutes to close out the game. So
and again, I think Contra out, Kennard hadn't been out, right?
That's
like,
true. Kennard played in that game. So
it's just, I think you're going to see the Williamses on the ball more, and that just opens up room for G.G. Jackson and for Jake LaRavia. So I'm okay getting to LaRavia at 3,600, especially like
it looks like he got subbed out for Aldama there in the second quarter, and then G.G. Jackson got subbed out a minute later, and LaRavia went back in. So
he did not play for 14 seconds in that.
Yeah.
He subbed out at 2:21, subbed back in at 2:07.
So weird.
So the closing of the half was, by the way, Luke Kennard was involved in that. So like Vince Williams wasn't. He was in foul. He had foul trouble. Okay, that makes sense. Vince Williams had 3 second quarter fouls.
Okay, so maybe that's what happened there.
Yeah. So maybe
we'll see.
We'll see what the starting lineup looks like for sure.
Right? Who knows? Maybe he cracks it. No Kennard, no Contra. We'll see what happens there. Power forward position. Again, we've talked about some of these guys already. Zion broke our hearts, fouled out of that game 29 minutes, but a great bounce back spot for him, $8,300. Vuk does have the power forward eligibility. He was the only Bull to really have anything going. I don't know if he can do that again against Cleveland here, though. Triple J against Minnesota. We know the deal with him. He's just going to take all the shots until he can't shoot anymore. $7,700 for him. Mobley at 72. Then you get the Denver guys.
That was a hilarious way to phrase that.
I mean, he did 13 free throws.
I know, he sure did. He
sure did. 12 from the floor.
I mean, if they can keep it competitive, it's like obviously he's. I think this is the last time they played. Do you remember this game? He had that like crazy where he had like 26 first half points. and had like 4 fouls in the first half too.
Shout out to Jonathan Moreland that night.
Shout out to Moreland for the Jaren Jackson for being there live and in the flesh.
To watch Jaren Jackson just hit every shot.
Yeah, every shot. So like foul trouble looming, but he's also had some success against them. We know what did Mobley get to for minutes? 28. He had a 7 assists. He almost triple doubled. 12,
he's
12
really
9, and 7. No, I know he's really good. I've never disputed that he's not really good. It's just, again, 28 minutes on the front leg of a back-to-back, right? Like, that's where I get hung up. That's
Sure.
all. And now it's second leg of a back-to-back. So it's a great spot.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Again, you have the Denver guys here. Keegan's coming off of a big night. Nas is down here. Santi and Gigi are both down here for some value plays. Anybody in particular that you're targeting?
So you pointed this out the last time we talked about Keegan Murray, that he really only plays well at home.
Yeah.
If you remember that. And then that has not really changed at all. And you look at the Miami game where it was so tilting because he like moved me off the cash line because I didn't play him.
Mm-hmm.
We're in Denver, right? He just was in Denver, and I'm not saying that matters, but he was, 2 for 8 in Denver. He's been significantly worse on the road this year.
Yeah, he has not been good against Denver this year, just in general. Obviously, that last game on the road, he's had 2 home games against them, but also just 3 of 10 shooting the first matchup against them there as well. Did go 6 of 11, but just 1 of 4 from 3. So not great production out of him here.
Yeah, so like I'm probably, if there's like high ownership there, it's probably something that I'm just okay with not getting to and just letting the field chase. Gigi Jackson is something I would go back to. Look, dude, he went 1 of 13. But we say this all the time, like if he's going to take 13 shots in 23 minutes, I have no problem with that because he's out there chucking, right? And he has been a guy 2 games prior against Milwaukee, 10 for 17. He hit 6 threes. Like we've seen that in a bunch of different situations for Gigi Jackson this year. So in tournaments, I'm perfectly fine getting there. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe Jalen Smith at 4K is someone I would take a look at. Maybe Taurean Prince at 3,800 is someone, potentially to take a look at. Obviously, Najee Marshall would be another name if Zion were to sit.
100%. Let's move our way on over to the center position here. Where are the Jokers? 11-7, Sabonis 10-3, and Anthony Davis under 10K, 9,800.
I wonder what the deal with the Lakers soft pricing is.
I don't know.
I don't quite understand it. I mean, look, I'm going to play Jokic in pretty much whatever. Like, that's why like someone like Laravia would make sense on this slate because you can get to the Joker at 11-7 coming off of 90. Has now gone 72, 78, 90 in 3 straight games where he's had 15 plus rebounds, 14 plus assists, and 20 plus points in all 3 of them. So, 37 minutes in 2 of the 3. So hard for me to not get to Jokic. Sabonis has looked really good in these matchups against Nikola Jokic. So I have no problem getting there. No problem getting Davis. So I feel like they're often on the slate together, these 3, and it's like often hard to just like, I want to play one. You could play any of them. They're all elite.
Agreed. Moving our way into the mid-tier, a lot of guys we've talked about. Gobert's here at 75, though.
Goober. We're about to call him a goober.
I was so close to doing it. Yeah, I try to stop myself. Gobert's here at $7,500. Obviously a great rebounding spot for him. Great matchup for centers in general.
And we don't know if Towns. And we don't know if Towns plays either.
Yep. We don't know if Towns is going to be there or not. So Turner, Valanciunas, Zubac's here at 56. Nas Reed still there. Kelly O for some value. Anybody else at center?
Yeah. How about matching Cleveland size, power forward Nikola Vucevic? That means center Andre Drummond here, John. If you look at the couple of games ago, the game before the All-Star break, Do you see who they played?
They played the game before the All-Star break. Cleveland.
Yep.
Played 28 minutes in that game.
Yep. He started in that game. They went double big, and then they did it again tonight, and Andre Drummond had another double-double. He's $5,200. All I'm saying is that if Andre Drummond is in the starting lineup, you bet your ass I am playing Andre Drummond in my lineup at $5,200 because he's just not a $5,200 player.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you.
If he's starting and getting anywhere near 30 minutes, he's not a $5,200 player.
Right. No, I would agree with you. The rebounds are already there anyways.
Which is insane. Be ready, John, to bet some Andre Drummond props. Like have it typed into wherever you're gonna bet.
Yeah.
Because you gotta be quick. Like if it's like 8.5 before we know if he's starting or not, and then they announce it, like be ready to click that because he's gonna get 20 rebounds in the start.
Okay. Want to build a lineup?
Sure.
Where do you want to start things here today?
Oh boy. I mean, like Norm probably.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a very good. There's a lot of good value on this.
It was. Go Norm Luka.
Dude, you can Norm Jokic, Norm Luka, Norm LeBron, Norm freaking.
I mean, LeBron's interesting. Do we think he plays? Yeah.
I don't think he sits many games moving forward. Just given the where they are.
Definitely not playing 9,100 LeBron then as our top guy. If that's how you feel.
I think that he's going to get extended. Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Do our boy Laravia for some value here?
Yeah, sure. Yep.
Power forward. Let's see, you're still in on Nas Reed, I imagine. Or do you need to see if guys are in or out there?
I mean, if one of the we didn't really mention it either. Kyle Anderson left.
True.
Left Tuesday's game and did not return. He had hamstring tightness. Dude, if there's no chance Nas Reed would start in that scenario. So, sure. And he had 22 and 6. 22 and 6. 36 fantasy points on. So, played 33 minutes against the Spurs. So.
Little game stack here.
Ooh. Yeah.
And then close it out with some Malik Monk.
Yeah, and that obviously gets
Keegan Murray struggles. Like maybe Monk gets more.
And De'Aaron Fox is questionable too.
Questionable. So quickly, Powell, James, Reed, Davis, Mann, Laravia, and Monk as an example lineup for everybody here. Again, 6 games on a Wednesday. I think Dylan Clemens has your playbook for the Wednesday slate.
He does.
Be on the lookout for that. We'll have some betting articles from Iggy. We'll have Underdog and Sleeper from myself. So, and of course, we'll be back live 5 p.m. Eastern time. So be on the lookout for the live stream. For now, everybody, good luck, and we'll catch you all later.